Have you ever found yourself stuck in a loop of endless thoughts, replaying the past or worrying about the future, and wondering why you can't just think clearly? What if the key to stopping overthinking isn't about trying harder, but about changing how you relate to your thoughts? We are constantly being hit with new knowledge, choices, and social pressures in today's fast-paced world. It's easy to see why a lot of us get stuck in loops of thinking too much. We keep thinking about what we should have done differently, replaying events from the past, and worrying about what will happen in the future. When you think too much, you might feel anxious, unable to make a choice, tired, and like you're stuck in your own thoughts. Stoicism, on the other hand, is an old but useful way to clear your mind and find peace. Stoicism gives us strong ways to stop overthinking and get back to a calm, clear state of mind. These include focusing on what we can control, doing rational self-reflection, and developing inner virtue. People who overthink tend to have thoughts that go on and on without stopping. These thoughts are usually about things that have already happened or possible results that may never happen. It has a lot to do with fear, worry, and doubting oneself. Overthinking can make it hard to make decisions, cloud our judgment, and keep us from fully experiencing the current moment. Stoics knew that the main cause of overthinking is putting too much emphasis on things we can't change. Giving our attention back to our own decisions and actions can help us feel like we have control over our feelings and thoughts again. Epictetus was the first person to publicly explain the difference between what we can control and what we can't. This idea is at the heart of Stoicism. He says that we have full control over our thoughts, choices, and actions, but not over outside events, other people's actions, or outcomes. The first step to cutting down on mental ruminating that isn't required is to understand and internalize this difference. Allowing ourselves to not be in charge of all situations frees us from thinking too much about what-ifs and other possible outcomes. For example, thinking too much about whether someone will like our work is pointless. Instead, Stoicism tells us to focus on doing our best work and being honest, which are things we can control. Stoicism isn't just a set of ideas. It also has practical methods that can help you calm your mind and see things more clearly. Here are some of the best ways to do things. Negative visualization is the act of picturing problems or losses that might happen ahead of time. It may seem illogical, but the goal is not to make people afraid, but to get them ready for hard times. By going over the worst-case scenarios in our minds, we weaken their influence and lower the stress that comes with not knowing what will happen. For example, thinking about the chance of losing our job can push us to make plans, improve our skills, and keep things in perspective. When problems do come up, they don't feel so big because the mind has already dealt with them in a calm, sensible way. The Stoics said that we should be aware of our feelings and thinking all the time. Mindfulness lets us notice our thought processes without judging them. This gives us a place to find and break cycles of overthinking. As part of focused awareness, you might stop and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Several times a day. Do these thoughts make sense or help? By giving ourselves this time to think, we can stop obsessively ruminating and act with clarity and purpose, instead of responding without thinking. In a daily book, you could write down questions like, what did I do well today? How could I do better? What fears can't be changed and how can I let them go? This practice not only helps you think more clearly, but it also helps you grow as a person and become more self-aware. Stoicism teaches that what makes us upset is often how we think about things, not the things themselves. When we think too much, we can change the way we think, so that we see problems as chances to grow. As an example, a Stoic would ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of beating yourself up over a bad presentation. What can I do better next time? By changing your point of view, you can turn overthinking into useful thought, which helps you keep your cool. Stoics knew how important it was to keep mental space safe. Keeping yourself away from harmful things like bad relationships, social media, and pointless distractions can help you keep your mind clear. Setting limits and putting our attention on important tasks clears our minds, which helps us stop overthinking. This could mean setting aside time to think and reflect, leaving pointless online arguments behind, or actively stepping away from situations that are draining your emotions. One big reason people overthink is that they think about the past or the future too much. The Stoic philosophy tells us to pay attention to the present because it is the only time we can change. Being fully present in the present moment lets us take action that matters, deal with problems in a sensible way, and enjoy life as it happens. Daily habits like focused breathing, focusing on the present moment, or noticing what's around you can help keep your attention in the present, preventing your mind from wandering to what-ifs in made-up situations. Using the dichotomy of power in real life can cut down on overthinking by a huge amount. This rule can be used in a number of situations. Personal relationships. We can't change how other people feel or act. Stoicism teaches people to pay attention to how they act and talk, which can help them feel less stressed and have better conversations. Work and career. Results aren't always clear, but you can control your work, preparation, and moral behavior. Instead of worrying too much about things like promotions, praise, or failing, you can focus on achievement and honesty. Wellness and health. Things like illness that happen outside of your control are out of your control, but the things you eat, exercise, and think about are. Stoic practice means making choices and accepting results that are out of our control. When you use this difference over and over, your mind becomes less reactive and more grounded. Emotional turmoil like fear, sorrow, or insecurity can make people think too much. Stoicism says that our feelings come from how we think about things. By thinking about these opinions, we can act logically instead of emotionally. A Stoic might think, I cannot control their choice, I can only control my response when a friend cancels plans, instead of assuming rejection or malice right away. How can I respond in a calm and helpful way? This exercise makes you more emotionally strong and less likely to waste mental energy on negative thoughts. To successfully stop thinking too much, Stoic ideas should be incorporated into daily activities. Some practical steps are morning reflection. Think about what you can change and set goals that are in line with ethics to start the day. Mindful breaks. Take a break every so often to notice your thoughts, break out of harmful spirals, and refocus your attention. Writing in a journal in the evening. Think about what happened during the day, evaluate how you reacted, and find ways to improve. Limit distractions. Spend less time with people or information that isn't important to you or that makes you feel bad. Always learning. Read Stoic writings, think about their ideas, and look for ways to use them in real life. As these habits become more common, overthinking naturally decreases as the mind becomes more controlled and focused. If you want to quiet your mind, stop overthinking, and gain clarity in every decision, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss practical tips for a calmer, more focused life.